Listen to me carefully. What I'm about to share is not for everyone. This message is urgent, and it is meant only for God's chosen ones. If you are not walking the divine path, if your heart is not aligned with God's truth, you will not feel connected to what I'm about to say. But if you are a true follower of God, if you've been called, separated, and refined in silence, then this message has reached you at the exact right moment. Not early, not late, right on time. And yes, this will change something inside you. There is a reason people stare at you. There is a reason their eyes linger, yet their mouths remain closed. You feel it. You notice it. And today, you're going to understand why it keeps happening. This is not coincidence. This is confirmation. Stay with me till the very end, because what I will reveal will bring you clarity, peace, and a deep sense of relief about who you truly are and what God is doing through you right now. Before we continue, chosen ones, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, tap the bell icon, and share this message with other chosen ones so they don't feel alone on their path. And comment 777 in the comments to declare that you are aligned, protected, and walking boldly in the mission God has given you. The spiritual reality behind silent stares. Let me speak to you calmly now, like a teacher who has watched generations walk this same path. What you are experiencing is not imagined. It is not anxiety. It is not pride, and it is not something you created. When people stare at you and say nothing, something deep is happening in the spirit before it ever reaches the surface of the mind. You see, long before words are formed, the soul reacts. People may not understand God, spirituality, or divine calling the way you do, but their spirit still recognizes what is different. And when they look at you, something inside them pauses. They feel it, a weight, a presence, a quiet authority. They may not have language for it, but they feel it. Staring without speaking is often the first sign of recognition without comprehension. Their spirit senses something familiar yet uncomfortable. Familiar because it reminds them of truth, uncomfortable because truth demands a response, and most people are not ready to respond. You must understand this. Not everyone who notices you is meant to approach you. Some are only meant to observe. Some are meant to feel conviction. Some are meant to remember what they've buried deep inside themselves. And when that happens, silence becomes their safest option. People talk when they feel equal. They stay silent when they feel exposed. Your presence carries a certain stillness that disrupts noise. You don't have to preach. You don't have to announce who you are. You don't have to prove anything. The reason people stare is because your energy is not chaotic. It is ordered. And order reveals disorder without saying a word. This is why some people feel drawn to you but never speak. They are curious, but curiosity alone is not enough. To speak to you would require them to step out of their comfort zone. To engage with you would require honesty, and honesty is costly. Let me say this gently because you need to hear it without fear. Some people stare because your light reminds them of the distance between who they are and who they were meant to be. That realization can be heavy, and silence becomes a form of self-protection. This has nothing to do with how you look, how you dress, or how you behave. It has everything to do with what you carry. Chosen ones don't blend in easily, even when they try. Their spirit stands upright in rooms where others are spiritually slouched, and that contrast is noticeable. Now listen closely. Silence is not rejection. Silence is not always disapproval. Silence is often respect mixed with fear. Fear of saying the wrong thing. Fear of being seen too clearly. Fear of awakening something they are not ready to awaken. There are people who sense that if they start a conversation with you, it won't stay shallow. They know it won't be small talk. They feel that something meaningful might come up, and they are not prepared for depth. So they stare, they process, they retreat. And then there are those who feel something else entirely. They feel watched by their own conscience when they look at you. Your presence reflects back to them, their choices, their compromises, their unspoken regrets. You don't judge them, but their own spirit does. That is why their eyes linger and their lips stay sealed.
I want you to release the habit of trying to interpret every stare as something negative. Not every silent person is against you. Many are simply being confronted internally, and confrontation without words is powerful. You are not meant to explain yourself to everyone who notices you. God did not design you to be accessible in the same way to all people. Some doors open only when the time is right. Some conversations are delayed on purpose, and some connections are never meant to happen at all. The spiritual reality operates on awareness, not volume. Loud people are often ignored spiritually. Quiet ones are observed. When God marks someone, he does not always announce it. He allows others to sense it. That sensing creates pauses, hesitation, silence. This is also why you may notice that people look away quickly when you catch them staring. Eye contact feels intense to them. It feels like being seen, truly seen, and many people are not comfortable with that level of visibility. Chosen ones have discerning eyes. Even when you are not trying to read anyone, your awareness does the work for you, and others feel that awareness before you ever speak. So let me ground you in this truth. You are not here to make everyone comfortable. You are here to carry truth calmly. Your role is not to chase validation or force connection. Your role is to remain steady. The stares are not an invitation to doubt yourself. They are confirmation that your presence is felt. And when presence is felt, silence often follows. As you listen to this, I want you to breathe and relax your shoulders. Nothing is wrong with you. You are not too intense. You are not imagining things. You are simply walking in alignment, and alignment is noticeable. People stare because something in them recognizes something in you. Whether they understand it or not is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to stay rooted, peaceful, and aware. And as we continue, I'm going to help you understand why this weight affects others the way it does, and how to carry it without feeling isolated or misunderstood. For now, breathe. You are not too much. You are just standing where you were placed, and that position matters more than you know. Let me take this a little deeper because some of you are still wrestling internally with what I'm saying. You accept it with your mind, but your heart still asks, why me? Why do I have to carry this weight while others seem so light, so carefree, so unaffected? Here is the truth that brings peace when you finally accept it. God does not place weight randomly. He places it intentionally, and weight is given because you have the structure to hold it. Think about this. A weak foundation cannot carry a heavy load. It would collapse. So the very fact that you are still standing, still kind, still grounded, even after everything you've been through, is proof that your inner structure is strong. You've been reinforced through hardship, through silence, through moments where no one explained what was happening to you. Those seasons were not wasted. They were preparation. This is why your presence feels seasoned. It doesn't feel rushed. It doesn't feel desperate. It doesn't feel performative. You've learned how to sit with discomfort. You've learned how to survive without applause. And that kind of maturity speaks louder than words. People who stare often sense that you are not easily impressed, and that unsettles them. Many people live for reaction. They feed on validation. They adjust themselves constantly to fit the room. When they meet someone who is internally anchored, it forces them to confront how much of their life is built on approval. You don't chase energy. Energy meets you, and that is rare. Let me also say this because it will free some of you. You are not required to explain your depth to people who have not earned access to it. Silence is not always avoidance. Sometimes silence is wisdom protecting what is sacred. God often hides his most valuable work in plain sight, revealed only to those who are ready. That is why some people sense there is more to you, but never quite get close enough to understand it. They can feel the depth, but they are not equipped to enter it. And that is not arrogance, that is discernment. You will notice as you mature spiritually, you become more comfortable letting people misunderstand you. That comfort is not coldness, it is peace. It is the peace of knowing that your identity is not up for negotiation. And here is where I want you to be very careful with your heart. Do not harden yourself because others stay silent. Do not become distant or withdrawn out of self-protection. Remain open but discerning, soft soft but strong, present but not exposed. Your presence is meant to heal, not to isolate you. The goal is not to shrink so others feel comfortable. The goal is not to shine so brightly that others feel inferior. The goal is to remain steady so those who are meant to find their way will do so naturally. Some will approach you later when they are ready. Some will never approach you at all. Both outcomes are acceptable. Your worth is not measured by how many people engage with you, but by how faithfully you remain who God shaped you to be. So when you walk into rooms and feel that familiar pause, that moment where eyes linger and words disappear, don't tense up, don't question yourself. Stand gently in your truth. You are not carrying this weight alone. You were built for it. Why? They say nothing. Fear, conviction, and spiritual conflict. Now, let me guide you into a deeper layer of understanding, because this is where many chosen ones silently struggle. You've accepted that people stare. You've accepted that your presence carries weight. But what still lingers in your mind is the question you rarely say out loud. Why do they say nothing? Why the silence? Why the hesitation? Why the unfinished sentences and the conversations that never begin? The answer is not simple, but it is freeing. Most people are not silent because they have nothing to say. They are silent because too much is happening inside them at once. When someone looks at you and says nothing, it is often because they are experiencing internal conflict, and conflict freezes movement. Fear is one of the strongest reasons people stay silent around you. Not fear of you personally, but fear of what interacting with you might awaken in them. You see, when someone senses depth, truth, or spiritual clarity in another person, it forces them to look inward. And many people avoid introspection at all costs. You represent stillness in a world addicted to distraction. That alone is unsettling. People talk freely when they feel safe hiding behind roles, jokes, surface-level identities. But when they sense that those masks won't work, silence becomes their shield. Speaking to you feels like stepping into honesty, and honesty requires courage. Not everyone has developed that courage yet. There is also conviction at play. Conviction doesn't always come from words. Sometimes it comes from contrast. Your calm may highlight their chaos. Your integrity may highlight their compromise. Your patience may highlight their restlessness. And when that happens, people feel exposed without being accused. You never said anything, yet something was revealed. This is why some people feel uncomfortable around you without knowing why. They cannot explain it, so they choose distance. Silence becomes a way to avoid self-confrontation. It allows them to leave the encounter unchanged. Let me say something important here. Conviction is not condemnation. You are not judging them, even if they feel judged. That feeling comes from their own inner awareness, not from your intention. You are simply standing in alignment, and alignment reveals misalignment naturally. Some people sense that if they engage with you, they might be challenged. Not challenged verbally, but challenged internally. They may have to rethink beliefs, habits, or decisions they've grown comfortable with, and comfort is something people fiercely protect. This is why you'll notice that those who are deeply rooted in avoidance often become the quietest around you. They may stare, observe, analyze, but they won't speak. They are weighing something internally, and often they choose the easier path, which is silence. There is also spiritual conflict happening that you cannot see with your physical eyes. Not everyone who encounters you is in alignment with your path or your energy. Some people feel resistance, not because you are wrong, but because you are different from what they are used to. Difference challenges identity. When people are unsure of themselves, they avoid those who seem sure. When people are spiritually unsettled, they avoid those who are spiritually grounded. Silence becomes a defense mechanism. Now, let me speak to the chosen ones who feel misunderstood. I know some of you wonder if you are intimidating, if you are too serious, if you should be more approachable. Listen to me carefully. You are not intimidating because you are harsh. You are intimidating because you are authentic. Authenticity makes performance impossible. People who rely on performance, image, or manipulation sense that they cannot easily influence you. They feel that you see through things without trying, and that awareness makes them cautious. This is also why some people admire you from a distance but never step closer. They respect your presence but don't feel ready to engage with it. They watch how you move, they notice your response, they study your stillness, but they remain silent because they don't know how to meet you where you stand. And then there are those who feel something deeper. They feel a pull towards growth, change, or truth. When they look at you, that pull can be frightening. Growth requires letting go. Change requires effort. Truth requires accountability. Silence becomes a way to delay all three. Let me ground you in this truth so you stop internalizing what was never meant to be personal. People's silence is about their readiness, not your worth. You are not here to be easily understood by everyone. You are here to be true, and truth is not always immediately welcomed. Some people are silent because they sense that if they speak to you, they might hear something they're not prepared to hear. Even casual conversation can feel meaningful in your presence, and meaningful conversations are avoided by those who prefer distraction. Have you noticed how some people suddenly become awkward around you? They don't know where to place themselves. They laugh nervously. They break eye contact. They rush away. That is not rejection. That is discomfort with depth. Your stillness slows people down, and slowing down exposes what people are running from. This is also why some people only speak to you when others are present. They feel safer in groups. One-on-one feels too intense, too real, too exposing. Silence protects them from vulnerability. Let me reassure you here. This does not mean you are meant to be alone forever. It means you are meant to connect with those who are ready, not those who are hiding. God often places chosen ones in environments where they are noticed before they are understood. This period is meant to develop patience. It builds humility. It teaches you not to depend on approval for validation. And yes, it can feel lonely, but loneliness in preparation is different from loneliness in abandonment. One is shaping you, the other drains you. What you are experiencing is shaping. I want you to stop trying to decode every silent reaction. You don't need to read every room. You don't need to adjust yourself constantly. You don't need to earn permission to exist as you are. Some people are silent because they feel spiritually small in your presence. That doesn't make them bad. It makes them aware, and awareness is the first step towards growth. Others are silent because they sense authority, not dominance. Authority, the kind that doesn't beg for attention, the kind that doesn't chase approval, the kind that stands quietly and lets truth speak for itself. Authority makes noise unnecessary. So when you notice silence again, don't tense, don't overthink, don't retreat inwardly. Simply remain present. Calm presence disarms fear more than explanation ever could. You are not here to fix people's discomfort. You are here to walk faithfully. And as we move forward, I'm going to help you understand the emotional side of this journey, the loneliness, the quiet moments, the feeling of being seen but not fully known. You are not weak for feeling it. You are human and you are chosen. The loneliness of being seen but not understood. Now, let me slow this down because this part touches the heart, not the surface emotions, but the quiet ones you don't always talk about, the ones you carry alone, being stared at, being noticed, being felt by others without being truly understood creates a specific kind of loneliness, and only chosen ones know what that loneliness feels like. It's the loneliness of visibility without connection. You can be in a room full of people and still feel alone. You can be surrounded by conversations and still feel unseen. People look at you, sense something about you, yet never step close enough to know you. That gap can be heavy, and I want you to know right now, there is nothing wrong with you for feeling it. Many chosen ones mistake this feeling for rejection, but it is not rejection. It is separation for purpose. You see, God often allows his chosen ones to be observed before they are embraced. This period is not meant to punish you.
That is character. But hear me clearly. Being chosen does not mean you are meant to suffer in silence forever. It means you are meant to learn discernment, to recognize who is safe, who is ready, who is aligned. Not everyone who stares at you is meant to know you deeply, and that realization is key to your peace. There are people who will eventually meet you at your level. They will speak without fear. They will engage without hesitation. They will understand your silence without explanation. Those connections are rare, but they are real, and they arrive when you stop forcing understanding from those who cannot offer it. Until then, God teaches you how to be comfortable with yourself.
This is where many chosen ones grow the most, in the quiet, in the waiting, in the moments where you learn to sit with your own thoughts without distraction, where you learn to trust your inner guidance, where you learn that being alone does not mean being abandoned. God is closest in the quiet. You are not invisible to Him. Every moment of confusion, every sigh, every unspoken question is seen, and God uses these moments to deepen your wisdom and compassion. One day, you will realize that this season of being seen but not understood taught you something invaluable. It taught you how to stand without applause, how to love without attachment, how to remain kind without needing validation. That strength will serve you later in ways you cannot yet see. For now, allow yourself to feel what you feel without judgment. Loneliness does not mean you are failing. It means you are human, and being human while walking a divine path requires patience with yourself. You are not meant to be fully understood by everyone. You are meant to be aligned, and alignment will eventually bring the right connections into your life. Until then, be gentle with your heart. You are not alone in this journey, even when it feels quiet. Let me add one more layer to this, because some of you feel this loneliness most strongly when you are surrounded by people. That is often the most confusing part. You ask yourself, why do I feel alone even when I am not physically alone? And the answer is not emotional weakness, it is spiritual sensitivity. You are aware on a deeper level. You sense what is unspoken. You feel shifts in energy. You notice when conversations lack sincerity. And because of that awareness, surface connection does not satisfy you. It feels hollow. That can make social spaces feel isolating rather than comforting. Chosen ones often outgrow environments before they outgrow people. You may still care, still love, still show up, but something inside you knows you no longer belong in the same way. That knowing can feel like grief. You are not losing people, you are transitioning, and transitions are quiet. Another truth you need to hear is this: not everyone has the capacity to hold space for someone like you. Holding space requires emotional maturity. It requires listening without defensiveness. It requires humility. Many people simply have not developed that yet, so God allows distance not to punish you, but to prevent unnecessary wounds. I want you to stop labeling yourself as lonely and start seeing yourself as selectively connected. Your circle may be small, but it is intentional. Quality over quantity is not just a saying, it is a spiritual principle. God does not work deeply with crowds, He works deeply with hearts. And sometimes, before the right hearts find you, you must learn how to be whole on your own. This is where inner companionship develops. You become comfortable with your thoughts. You trust your discernment. You no longer fear silence. Silence becomes a place of restoration rather than emptiness. You begin to realize that being misunderstood by many is less painful than being half understood by those who are not ready. Partial understanding often leads to misinterpretation, and misinterpretation leads to unnecessary hurt, so God spares you from that. When you feel that quiet loneliness again, don't resist it. Sit with it gently. Ask yourself what it is teaching you. Often it is teaching you how to anchor yourself in truth rather than in approval. And one day, without force, without chasing, without explanation, you will notice something shift. The right people will recognize you, not just with their eyes, but with their spirit. They won't stare in confusion. They will approach in understanding. Until then, trust the process. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are becoming. How to walk calmly in this reality without losing yourself. Now, let me help you with the most practical and healing part of this message. Understanding why people stare and stay silent is important, but learning how to live peacefully with that reality is what will protect your mind, your heart, and your spirit. Because here's the danger for chosen ones. When you are constantly noticed but rarely understood, you can begin to shrink. harden, or disconnect. And none of those responses are what God wants for you. The goal is not to withdraw from the world. The goal is to walk through it calmly without losing yourself. The first thing you must learn is this: you do not need to manage other people's reactions to you. That is not your responsibility. Many chosen ones exhaust themselves trying to be more palatable, more explainable, more acceptable. They adjust their tone, soften their presence, dull their light. Over time, this creates inner conflict. You start feeling disconnected from yourself. Peace returns when you stop trying to control perception and start trusting alignment. When you are aligned, the right people will feel drawn without effort. The wrong ones will remain distant without chaos. Both outcomes serve you. Walking calmly means you stop scanning rooms for approval. You stop wondering what people think when they look at you. You stop internalizing silence as judgment. Instead, you anchor yourself inwardly. Ask yourself this simple question when you feel uneasy: am I at peace with who I am right now? If the answer is yes, then nothing else needs your attention. Chosen ones must develop inner authority. Inner authority is quiet confidence. It is not arrogance. It does not announce itself. It does not demand agreement. It simply exists. And when you walk in inner authority, you don't rush to explain yourself. You don't overtalk. You don't overshare. You understand that explanation is only necessary where there is relationship. Depth is only shared where there is readiness. This is how you protect your energy. Another key is learning the difference between discernment and suspicion. Discernment is calm awareness. Suspicion is anxious scanning. Discernment allows you to notice without fear. Suspicion makes you tense, guarded, and reactive. You don't need to fear people who stare. You don't need to assign meaning to every look. Calm observation keeps you grounded. Fear pulls you out of yourself. When you feel watched, do not tense your body. Relax your shoulders. Breathe slowly. Stay present. Your calm regulates the space more than you realize. There is also something powerful about knowing when not to speak. Silence is not weakness. Silence is wisdom when used intentionally. You don't need to fill space with words just because others feel uncomfortable. Let discomfort do its work. Some of the most impactful moments in your life will happen without conversation. Now listen carefully, because this part matters. Walking calmly does not mean becoming emotionally distant. It means becoming emotionally selective. You remain kind, you remain open, but you are no longer available to everything and everyone. This is where boundaries come in. Boundaries are not walls, they are filters. They allow what is healthy to pass through and keep what is draining at a distance. Many chosen ones struggle here because they confuse boundaries with rejection, but boundaries are self-respect. You are allowed to preserve your peace. You are allowed to leave spaces where you feel energetically drained. You are allowed to say less and observe more. Walking calmly also means grounding yourself in routine. Spiritual people sometimes neglect structure, but structure is stabilizing. Simple habits like prayer, reflection, rest, and intentional solitude keep you centered. Solitude is not isolation. When it is chosen, it becomes restoration. Another thing you must learn is not everyone deserves your vulnerability. Vulnerability is sacred. It is not for spectators. It is for those who have proven safety, consistency, and respect. Sharing too much too soon can leave you feeling exposed and misunderstood. So be gentle with yourself. Protect your inner world. Not everyone who notices you is meant to know you. There will be times when you feel misunderstood, when silence around you feels awkward, when you wonder if you should say something to ease the tension. Pause. Ask yourself if speaking would bring truth or just comfort. Chosen ones are not called to be universally comfortable. They are called to be grounded. Let me also address humility, because this is important. Walking calmly does not mean seeing yourself as above others. It means seeing yourself as responsible for how you carry what you've been given. Humility keeps you teachable. It keeps you compassionate. It keeps you human. You don't look down on those who stay silent. You understand them. You don't judge those who avoid you. You release them. And in doing so, you free yourself. There is great peace in accepting that not everyone will understand you, and that they don't have to. The pressure lifts when you stop seeking universal connection and start honoring divine timing. Walking calmly also means trusting God's protection. Some connections are delayed for a reason. Some conversations never happen because they would distract you. Some stares never turn into words because words are not needed. Your life is being guided, even in the quiet moments. When you walk calmly, you stop trying to rush outcomes. You allow relationships to unfold naturally. You allow people to reveal themselves over time. You no longer chase clarity from those who are confused. And here's what happens when you live this way. Your peace becomes noticeable. Your calm becomes contagious. Those who are meant to approach you will do so gently, without fear. Those who are not will fall away quietly. No force, no conflict. This is the life of a grounded chosen one, not